Hey everyone, and welcome back to our Virtual Bites cooking program. This week we are making taco salad, and I've heard from a lot of kids that they don't like salad. Well, we're making a very tasty taco salad with a couple fun things. For this video, because with the salad we're doing a lot of just adding things in, I've pre-cut everything because we've been working on skills for a while now. So some of the items that you need to do at home, I've already done for this video. Just pause the video if you need to, do the skill, and then you can restart the video. So we're gonna go through our ingredients for today. Over here, we've got some ground beef. Then what we've done for our take-home kits, as well as for here today, we've pre-cooked that meat, okay? Next, we've got taco seasoning and some water, and we're gonna be seasoning that up in just a minute. Next, we've got our lettuce over here. I've pre-washed my lettuce. It's drying out over there with the towel. Next, coming over here, we have our sweet pepper, we've got our tomato, and we've got some green onions. Then we've got our can of rinsed pinto beans. We've got some cheese, we've got our olives, and then for our dressing after, we have our pre-mixed, our dressing. We're just using Thousand Island dressing, and some salsa to add in. And I think we've got about everything, eh, Jess?
No.
Oh, Jess thinks we're missing something. I think we're fine. Oh my goodness.
The main ingredient.
The main ingredient today, we are using taco chips to make our salad extra crunchy and tasty. For those of you who said salads are boring and they don't like them, I'm going to change your mind today. So come on over this way. We are going to start by seasoning up our ground beef. So this is just cooked ground beef. There's been nothing else added to it, and it's going to be really bland in our salad. So we're going to go ahead, and I've got my pan on about a medium-high setting because we're going to add some water into it. We want to have enough heat to boil the water and start to evaporate it out. So you're going to hear a sizzle when this hits the pan. That's about 2 cups of meat. This salad's going to be like a meal salad, and when we do meal salads, they have a lot more of ingredients to make sure we've got all of our food groups in there, but we also want to make sure that they are hearty enough to eat, to keep us going for a little bit. So this has been pre-cooked and drained of all the fat. You can still see there's a little bit there. We're not always going to get all the fat out of it. That's just going to melt up, melt up into our pan as it warms up, and it's extra flavor, but we did drain off most of that fat earlier. So just breaking that meat up a little bit. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to sprinkle in my taco seasoning. For those of you that don't have a kit, it's about a tablespoon of taco seasoning that's going in. We here at the club have our taco seasoning in a very large container, but sometimes you can buy pre-measured out taco seasonings, or you can make your own from scratch. I like to do that at home a lot, mix all of my individual ingredients in to make my own taco seasoning. And then we're going to add in half a cup of water. This doesn't have to be an exact measurement. All we're doing is we're adding that water to the meat to help spread the spread the seasoning more fully through the meat. So I'm going to turn my pan up a little bit, and I'm going to mix that all in together, and it will start to bubble up. So the sound of it cooking has gone away a little bit, but just because that water was cold as we added it in. And you don't need a lot of water. We're not making soup with it. We're just helping to better coat the meat with the taco seasoning. So making sure that that's all blended up. Now that's going to cook do its own thing. Because it's pre-cooked, we're not looking for our meat to be turning different color. But if you are starting from raw, you're going to have red ground beef, and you want to make sure that you cook it fully, and that's when your meat turns from red to brown with red meat. That's how you know that it's cooked all the way through. And with ground meat, we want to make sure that it is always cooked all the way through. It's different than steak. A steak is where you pre-make your slices and you have that steak, but nothing's touched the inside of it. So sometimes people like a medium rare or rare steak. It's okay that it's a little pink inside, but when we have it ground, it's gone through people handling it, it's gone through a machine to process it, it's been mechanically digested, as we call it, and that's been gone through a lot. So we want to make sure it's cooked all the way out, just in case it picked up anything during that process of grinding it. Okay? So make sure if you are going from raw that you cook until there is no more pink left. So this is just going to chill out here a little bit. I've got my burner turned on to medium high. heat. And I'm just gonna make sure that all the water gets absorbed. Okay, so we're gonna leave that, let it kind of meld a little bit, and we're gonna move over to our assembly process. So as I mentioned before, I did pre-cut our peppers because we've talked about that in last week's video. If you didn't see that one, be sure to check back on last week's YouTube video when we made pizza. We talked a little bit about how to cut up a pepper. And I just took the slices we made when you make your pepper and then just go the other way to make a diced pepper. We also have our cheese pre-grated. Last week we did grated cheese for our pizza, and 2 weeks ago we did grated carrots for our carrot muffins. So I think we've really exhausted showing that skill on camera. So for today it is pre-done. And then our everything else we've got pre-cooked as well. I just wanted to show you how I did the tomato because that can be sometimes a little tricky. So what I've done is I've cut it in half, and we want to make sure that the wobbly side is not on the bottom because that's going to be very challenging to cut. So we're going to take that and we're going to put that face down. And Jess, if you want to come in closer here, we've got our claw. I'm going to grab the tomato and I'm going to drag my knife through. Now, if your knife is getting stuck on the skin, your knife might be a little too dull. Talk to an adult about sharpening that up. And I'm going to turn my knife and I'm going to go in the opposite direction here. And that's all I've done. And then I've got lovely, nice diced up pieces of tomato. I don't want to go too small with my dicing because we are, you still want to taste it in your salad. Okay, so we've got everything here and we are going to start assembling. It's a really quick recipe this week. So with our romaine lettuce, you always want to make sure that you wash your lettuce because you might not know it, but inside there could be little bits of sand and dirt that could also be bugs. I've washed my salad and had bugs before. So make sure you go through and you wash every piece of lettuce, and then you want to dry it really good because you don't want the water in your salad to make it like too wet and water down the flavors. And finally, I haven't gone through this yet, but make sure that you're looking at your leaves. So Jess, if you come up close, we've got some leaves here that have some dark spots on them and some rust up here. That's an oxidization process. So we want to make sure that we're not eating that because that might not taste very good and it might not be good for us. So see right here, I can't really rub that off. That's not just dirt, that's the leaf. We're not going to eat that, okay? Turn my meat down just a little bit over here. And see that water is getting all absorbed into that. So I'm just going to turn that burner right down, and we're actually going to add that to our salad warm. So the other thing is, if you are not making your salad right away to serve, do not use a knife because that metal that's on your knife will actually make your salad or your lettuces go brown faster. So I just like to rip, or we don't have any here, but if you've got a plastic knife, those hard plastic knives, you can use those to cut your lettuce. But a metal knife is going to further oxidize out your lettuce and it's going to start to rust faster. So I'm just picking out my good pieces here, give myself a little bit of a shower over here, but I'm just patting out the rest of the water and then the little bit of the rib, and then I'm just breaking that across. And the middle section is just a little crunchier, but it's definitely still good to eat. And there's no special method for tearing your lettuce. If you like big leaves, make big leaves. If you like little leaves, cut it smaller. It's totally up to you how you want the lettuce to be cut. We are using romaine, but you don't have to use romaine. You can use head lettuce. You can buy spring mix, which has arugula, and I think there's some radicchio in there. You can use spinach, kale, any greenery that you like to use for your process. Okay, so we're gonna finish off that salad. Probably just put in one more here. But at home, especially those of you that got our cooking kits this week, I sent you home with lots of veggies, so you can go ahead and make that a dinner salad. I'm pretty sure one parent said that his daughter was cooking dinner for everyone, so that's exciting. We want to make sure then that we've got everything I sent with you to make a big hearty meal. So I'm gonna stop there for my salad because it's just me. I don't need too much. So I've got my lettuce there, and then I'm just gonna add everything in. So I've got my pepper that's going in. I've got my tomato that's going in. I'm gonna add in most of my green onions. I'm just gonna leave a little bit. I like to garnish at the end, so just sprinkle some on just to make it look a little fancier. I've got my black olives, Some people don't like black olives, but I love olives, and I know I talked last week about how I didn't like them as a kid, but I find also in a taco salad that bright, salty flavor really goes nicely in a salad, and then it's going to get toned down a little bit with the dressing and the cheese. Okay, so next we're going to add in our pinto beans. These are a really nice small bean, nice smooth flavor. You can use a black bean if you'd like. Just any canned bean that you're using, make sure when you open the can, you go into a colander, rinse out all of the extra little, goo that's around the beans. That's a little bit of a preservative, and it's got lots of salt in it. We don't want to be ingesting all of that. So make sure you give your beans a little bit of a rinse, and then you can look out and see if there's any that are a little bit yucky that might have made it into past the canning process. So we've got our salad here. And then finally, we're going to mix in our cheese. We're using a cup of cheddar, but you can use any cheese that you would like. I like to use a cheddar. It's a very strong flavor that'll cut through. I'm gonna get out my salad tongs, because I'm pretty sure I don't want to mix my salad up with my hands. So we're gonna go and we're gonna start to mix that up, making sure everything gets well blended. Okay. And then we're gonna come over our meat. So we're gonna check, we've got that moisture is all evaporated out here, and I can even just pull some of the meat up here just to drain out the last little bit of fat mixed in with that little bit of water. Okay, so we've got that drained out. I'm going to bring my bowl closer here because I'm leaving my hot with my hot. I don't want to be carrying it over and potentially getting burned. And I'm just going to use my salad tong because this burner has been turned off for a little while. And I'm going to put a little bit of meat into my salad. And then I'm going to give it a nice little toss. And some of that warm meat is going to melt that cheese a little bit. Oh, this is looking really good. Jess, I have made more than probably enough for me, so I might need your help later to finish this off.
Wonderful.
And so we've got all of our meat there. Like I said, we're making this as a dinner salad, so we're adding in we're going to end up adding in all of our meat. I might need to even add in a little bit more lettuce. And that's the thing about the salads is you can put in a little less veggie and a little more meat. You can put in a little less meat and add in more veggies. It's really versatile, and you can have a lot of substitutions with this. At home, I've made it with my mom. We've done cauliflower, broccoli, radish. So you can really add whatever you'd like into your salad for veggies. Okay? And then we've got our salad dressing. We are using Thousand Island dressing. It's got a nice flavor. It's sweet, creamy. It's got a little bit of a kick to it. So that's the one that I like to use for this particular recipe, and it goes really nicely with adding in our chips after. So we want to make sure that gets really mixed up well. A little bit goes a long way. So as you can see, I didn't actually make sure all of it went in. I'm going to mix up this little bit first, and if I find that I'm happy with that dressing amount, I'll leave it. And if I want a little bit more, remember, we can always add, we can't take away. And then finally, our salsa. I like to add it, even though we've got tomatoes. This just gives a little bit of a kick to it, enhances the dressing a little bit more. And again, same thing, I'm just gonna add in a little bit because I don't want our salad to become too wet. Just like that, and then give it a really good mix up. Now, we're pretty much all done here. I think this is almost a record recipe make because it is such an easy way just to mix everything together. Finally, what we are gonna do is we are gonna do our chips. If you are not eating your salad within the next 10 minutes, don't add the chips because they will get gross and soggy. You want a crispy chip. The Doritos are like the croutons of your taco salad. So when you go to use these, keep them out of your salad. Even if you're serving at the dinner table, put your salad down and then put your chips in a different bowl. People can add it at the top of their plate, and it's really crispy because they will start softening up as soon as they hit that moisture. So our recipe calls for 2 cups. I'm definitely not gonna add in this entire bag. So I'm just gonna sprinkle a couple in to our big bag here. Those of you that got cooking kits at home, your chips are already in your bags. You can go ahead and use those for this next step. Okay, so we've got our chips in our bag. That looks like about 1.5 cups. And we're gonna seal that up. And we also, we don't want, I'm sure, Jess, you'd like to still taste your chip a bit, so we're not going to make crumbs with it. We're just going to gently break them up. Please don't start, with your taco chips, because you won't have any more flavor. So just a nice little gentle massage of your chips. You still want, and we can even pick out some of the bigger pieces. The reason we do it in a bag is just to contain all the crumbs. So we've got, there we go. That's all you need to do. We're not going to go crazy with it. So that's it. It was a fast recipe for today. Jess, you can have some in a little bit, but I'm gonna scoop myself some right now. And again, because we're sharing it afterwards, I'm not gonna put this all in because I don't know when Jess is gonna get a chance to eat her part, or maybe she takes it home with her for supper tonight. So I'm just gonna sprinkle a little bit of those chips on my salad, and I'm gonna grab a fork. I'm gonna grab a spoon because that's what's handy right there, and give it a taste. That's really good. And if you taste it and you want to add a little bit more salsa, go on ahead if you want a little bit more spice. And your recipe also does say that you can add in some sour cream. We didn't send that home with you, but definitely you can add that in as well. Excuse me. So that's it for taco salad for this week. Pretty simple. Don't forget to send us your recipe, your cooking at home. And it doesn't have to be the final product. Show me cooking at the stove. Show me ripping up your lettuce. Yeah. Next week, we are going to be doing some Christmas baking. So stay tuned for that. There are some very special videos that we're going to be releasing all the way through our Christmas holidays. So stay tuned for those, and we'll see you next week. Bye.